uh, you, would give us uh, propagation, and so I had to look at the length of the ping to make sure that it wasn't sporadic E, and that's going to be even more difficult, I think, or more necessary on 10 meters
Mm-hmm.
because F2 propagation is going to be significant there. And so where I'm going with this is I think the recording of of the um, of the signals is going to be important so that you can, after the fact, go back and see how long the ping was and make sure you weren't getting just sporadic E or tropo or F layer propagation. And kind of another side of that, I don't know how difficult this would be, but it's possible that the WSJT software could be modified to actually record the length of the ping and count accordingly there. So this is kind of the stuff that's sort of been rattling around in my head since I first read the poster. So we can talk about that further, but I wanted to plant those seeds with you guys to be thinking about that, how you're going to untangle the meteor scatter from the other propagation modes. But I think it's going to be exciting to see how well 10 meters does because there's a real strong wavelength dependence. I mentioned in my email in the theory, lower frequencies, longer wavelengths should be a lot more efficient, and you ought to get a lot better propagation there, ignoring the F layer type stuff. So anyway, I'll shut up, but I look forward to talking about that more. If you want to have a separate side discussion on that, I'd be delighted to, because I kind of know what the meteor community is looking for, and that's not heliophysics, but it's the meteor stuff. So
I think that would be
that's it.
incredibly useful.
Okay.
What do you think, Kuldeep?
Yeah, that will be useful. And deciphering between sporadic E or other signatures from Meteor, yeah, it might be definitely useful when our final data comes in.
Yeah, it's really obvious when you're making a meteor scatter contact because you hear either a short ping or you hear an aircraft scatter, and there's usually this Fresnel oscillation in that. It's just really obvious. But how do you make the software count appropriately? Make it obvious that the software is counting the right thing. So we can talk about that later.
Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate it. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, great. Yeah, your expertise is obviously most welcome. That's where a lot of us are here to learn. I think we're all here to learn. So anything you can teach us is going to be useful. That's for sure. So yeah, we'll think about how to better define the science objectives too between now and the event in August. Good point. All right. Anything else on the meteor scatter goodies?
Gary, I had a question.
Sure.
I wondered, what have we learned so far from a couple weekends ago? Does anybody look at that data? Did we get enough pings to do anything?
I've not looked at the PSK reported data myself to see the number of stations or anything like that. Bruce, do you have anything kind of anecdotal that you might? We had the Lyrids in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, anecdotally only. I didn't see much of an uptick in the user community. We didn't have enough monitors to be able to tell too much what was going on. Clearly, the 6-meter activity went up, as would be expected, and it would seem to me that occurred more on the after the peak. If the peak was like the 22nd, I think I think the activity may have been better like on the 23rd or 24th. But that was 6-meter type contacts. And 'cause I know I was on the air and I did one 5-minute sequence of broadcasting or transmitting, and I think I got like 12 or 13 or 14 monitors on 6 meters all over the everywhere from the Mississippi east. And that was a good indication to me that, yeah, there was some rocks around. But again, we didn't have enough 10-meter monitors to be able to get much out. Now, the last time I was on last Saturday morning, I believe it was, I did notice that there were more 10-meter monitors out there. So some of the publicity is getting out, and we just need to keep pushing on that, because it's easy for SWLs to set up a radio and pipe it into WSJTX. Almost anybody can do that. And all they need to do is let it run. So.
Yeah, Bruce, I tried 10 meter during the Lyrids too, and I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I forgot to check PSK Reporter to see if anybody heard me, but I looked later and there weren't many monitors either. So I did post on Ping Jockey that I was, trying, and somebody else was trying, at the same time, but we didn't get anything. So yeah.
I have noticed, and I didn't realize enough about how WSJTX was working, but I'm sorry, a PSK Reporter, but you may go on there and it may tell you that there are like no monitors on 10 meters, and they're not going to start showing up until somebody actually hears something and sends in a ping report. And as soon as they start doing that, then it starts coming up and say, yeah, there's now 4 monitors out there. And if you're transmitting, you may see a couple of them. Gary will show up as a monitor, I've noticed, once in a while on 10 there in Cleveland, right, Gary? And
Right.
There's a station in, there's one in Ohio and one in Michigan that I see all the time. And we just need to get more of those monitors active, or passive, actually, as the case may be. We need passive monitors. Of course, we need active people, but we really need the passive, because otherwise we can't figure out what's going on. We're in the blind.
On the 22nd, I did CQs a couple times, and I got the only contact that I had was F layer with the OA4 DPM down in Peru.
Yeah, he's been very active.
But it's all F layer, I'm sure. There's no way that we're doing
Absolutely.
scattered.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's one of the things we're fortunate that we've got a chance to put our best foot forward in August, and what we learn and what others learn, we can combine it and then give it another shot in December. And then there's next year too. I mean, it doesn't have to be a one-shot thing, so we may learn as we go along. Sure we will. Did that help, Mary Lou?
Thank you.
Sure. All right. I'd like to switch gears just for a minute. I'm not sure how many people are aware, but NASA, the citizen science folks who fund a lot of our work and support it, have a website where the citizen science groups associated with them can basically post news. And the folks from NASA take a look at it and massage it and edit it and talk about graphics and so on and so forth, and it ends up on the NASA site. So I'd like to show that, because I was pretty happy to see this today. Let's see. And we didn't have I couldn't find a photo of the group. I know we took some group photos. I couldn't find one, so I put together a collage of some of our posters to give a little bit of visual interest. And Mark Kushner from NASA liked that, and so that's what went up there. But we've got links back to the workshop program so people can read the posters and whatnot. But I will put this in the chat so folks can look at it at their leisure and stuff. But anyhow, it was nice to, the number of folks who were participating, and some examples of some of the talks, keynotes, and the invited whatnot. So short but sweet. I think the beautiful thing is, that'll back me up on this, is once NASA posts this, a lot of other people tend to see it, and then repost it on their own site. So we get a nice little publicity PR bump from the whole thing. So
Little
thanks to our
viral
friends
is a
at
good
NASA.
thing. Yep. So
Yep. Okay. Stop share. All right. How about if we take a couple of minutes and do some planning for the Dayton Hamvention? Nathaniel, you up for that?
Yes, I am.
All right. I've got, there may be other things, but I got four topics I kind of wanted to cover. Every year, of course, we bring our HamSCI banners and a number of posters to hang up behind or around the booth and whatnot.
Yes.
Did the HamSCI banners come back to roost after the W3 USR thing last year? Because I thought you kind of lost track of them a little bit.
No, I have the HamSCI banners.
Okay.
Yes. They are back in my possession. I know where all three are.
Okay, because I didn't see them in New Jersey, and I just realized that I don't remember seeing them in New Jersey, and it made me nervous.
Yeah,
So, okay.
they were there, but we never got a chance to hang them up. But they did. They do exist. I know where they are.
Okay. So far as posters, I typically like to, bring as many as you want, but I typically like to put up those that are relevant to things we're talking about, like MSQP, Daisy 2, and that sort of thing. So I don't know how many
Yes.
you've got there.
I have. I can bring a whole stack of posters that would be very appropriate to hang up, including all those.
So one of the tricks is that I've got to leave Xenia Sunday morning real early to get back for a retirement party on
Right.
Sunday. So Bob Reif is going to kind of man the booth and whoever else is there on Sunday morning. But Bob is flying back home, so I can't leave him with a lot of stuff to clean up or try to take back home.
Okay.
Some of the posters were on paper. Maybe those would be a good option to leave with him on Sunday, and if they have to go into recycle, they have to go into recycle. But I'm not sure if he could get them back.
Yeah.
Or we could talk to Bob about that some more. But
yeah, I think what I might do is, we just really have a scaled down operation on Sunday, so we pack all that stuff up Saturday night, and then if Bob's still going to be there on Sunday, we're adjacent to the Tapper booth. He can hang out with the Tapper people. We can leave some additional HamSCI newsletters and things like that, and so he can still be a HamSCI presence. But even if the HamSCI booth is down, he can he can be with the Tapper people who are very, very friendly to us.
true, because we got the two business cards he'll have some of the flyers and whatnot. So he'll definitely have some swag to pass out. So
yeah, and I think we talked about that for some of the other material and perhaps the banners. Since I'm going to Boxborough, okay, I can just put them in my car and I could take them east, and then bring them up to Boston that way. So
Okay.
I could save you a trip because I'll have them right there. I'm going to go right up.
So you want to take some of these things with you?
Yeah, I mean, if we can pack them Saturday, or I don't know if that's going to work. Let's pull it offline. I'm not exactly sure. So, okay.
Yeah.
But I could. Okay, either that or I can meet you in Scranton. I could take them up from there. So.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I think if there's if we don't have a good person to take them home on Sunday, I would say we just pack up on Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm committed to be home decently on Sunday. So
yeah, and if I don't leave kind of first thing on, if I don't leave at a reasonable time on Sunday, we don't get back until like midnight or so.
yeah, it's 9 hours back. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
no, that all makes sense. That's good. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with that, because that's what Bob and I had discussed too. I said you have minimal stuff, you can bring some business cards home in your suitcase, which obviously he doesn't have a problem with, and we're good. Because I mean, the Hamvention does provide a sign for the back of the booth, but it's not nearly as flashy as what we've got. But anyhow, that's fine. Cool. All right. Booth talks. I've been going back and forth with Neil Rapp a little bit, and right now we've only got, from HamSCI's perspective, we've only got one scheduled. The guys from the Air Force Institute of Technology want to do their talk on space weather and quantum networks, and they want to do it on Saturday because that's not a work day for them. So they've got the 11 o'clock Saturday slot. But other than that, I don't think we've got anything lined up for the booth talks for that weekend.
Yeah, I really don't have anything lined up for the booth talks right now. I think I'm bringing younger students with me. I only have 2 students coming with me from Scranton. They are both younger people who I don't think we have time to prepare them properly to give a talk. So I would say either we find some people here who would like to volunteer to give a booth talk, or we just kind of forego some of the booth talks this year. And I know that, so you can also get your opinion on it, Gary. But I know we have the HamSci forum that we have to pay attention to. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Right, right. Yeah, you can't spread ourselves too thin, obviously. So, because yeah, 4 o'clock is the forum. So, so maybe we just do a couple of booth talks on Saturday, and that'll be it. And then the forum, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm planning on being there, and I did a 15-minute talk for the eclipse here in Albuquerque for NASA and NOAA.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that on whatever day, Friday or Saturday, even Sunday.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I mean, if we have people who are here that would like to volunteer.
Will we have a monitor for doing the
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I am committed to bringing a monitor, so we will have a monitor there. You should know that the booth talks are not particularly glamorous, and they are also they're kind of tucked away in a back little corner, and it's very noisy. So so you just have to kind of know what you're getting into. But so the nice thing is that if you're good at kind of rustling up a crowd and you have something you want to talk about and you don't mind talking to just a couple people, it's a nice thing to do. And yeah, we'll have a monitor there. The Yoda people, they always have sodas and chips and things like that over in the booth talk area. So you get some free snacks, which is nice.
Well, that should attract many hams. Free snacks.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Bill, I definitely appreciate the offer, and an obvious one would be Saturday at 1 p.m. So let's think about that. I've got no problem penciling you in, but think about what Nathaniel said, and we'll make a decision.
Pencil it in with my computer keyboard now.
There you go. My Apple Pencil. Okay. So that takes care of booth talks. And the other thing, Nathaniel, I sent the list of badges into Salisa on, I guess it was over the weekend. So hopefully she got that on Monday. Have you heard from her?
Yes, I met with her, and she has uploaded she updated the badge name list, and I believe she has paid for it. And so I think that is being taken care of. I should follow up with her either tomorrow or Monday, though. But we did meet. She did update the list in the system. She does know how to pay for it. And then we just have to figure out how to get the badges to us, because I know actually there's an email from Rusty Oates from Yasmi. Apparently they sent him the first set of badges, but so I think there's some confusion there. But yeah, she did get into the system.
Okay. Yeah, I've got no problem picking them up on Thursday. That's what I've done in the past, whatever changes and edits there were, because they may be hesitant to mail things out with only 2 weeks to go.
Right.
Given the post office lately.
Yes.
But just know I'm available to pick them up on Thursdays. So
I think that would be really good. And I'm planning on traveling on Wednesday. I'm planning on being there Thursday. I'm gonna try doing what I usually do, which is take my students in cohort over to Contest University Thursday morning, stay for at least half the day, And then, for the other half of the day, go over to HamVention, touch base with you, and kind of make sure we're all settled in.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Great.
All right. I think those were the 3 or 4 things that I wanted to cover for the HamVention then. So
That's great. I'm getting the YouTube videos updated here. So
yeah,
great.
the April 17th I wanted to get because I wanted to send Peter Hull a thank you, and I want to send him a link to his video with that. So that'll be great.
Okay, yeah, it just got posted, so it may still be processing, but I just uploaded it.
Yeah, okay. I'll see that later tonight. So perfect.
Also, Rob Robinette gave a talk when he was at the University of Scranton. I might just upload that as a special talk to the same HamSCIence channel.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that.
Great, I will do that.
When some of the group may have seen this morning, but Nathaniel summarized the first DAISY grant, right? That's complete. The books are closed on that.
Yes.
When that's up on the NSF site, I like to make that a little news item on the website because I think that's a really significant.
Actually, I think it might
milestone.
already be on the NSF website.
Oh, okay.
So I can probably put a link to that. Let's see, check this. Let's see, personal space weather station. Let me see if it's there. Wow, there are a lot of awards. Let me just look up the award number. Yeah. If you keep talking for a couple minutes, I should have that information
that's
for you in a
fine.
second.
I just put the NASA posting in the chat, so that's a good thing. But what Nathaniel's looking for is this. What I really liked about when I saw it this morning was the fact that he was summarized the whole beginning of the DAISY, the grapes, whisper demon grapes and stuff in about 200, 250 words. And when you think about how many people were involved, how much time, how much volunteer effort, grant monies were spent, of course, the efforts at the universities and to be able to summarize that so succinctly into 250 words is really something. So that's why I think it's
I got it.
worth seeing. Good.
So here is the link in the chat right there. There you go.
Okay. All right. Save the chat so I don't lose it. Fantastic. All right. Good. Thanks for doing that. All right. Whoa, close to 5.
Yes.
Anything, any other topics or questions folks got before we adjourn for the evening, I guess? We have a couple of to-dos. It sounds like I'll have to make some notes and follow up on those things, which is good. Other than that, it sounds like we'll be seeing quite a few of you at in Xenia in 2 weeks, so that'll be exciting.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for everyone's input, and especially those like Rob who joined us for the first time. We'll hope to see you back frequently. That's a good thing. Appreciate your input, and everyone else as well. So if that's it, have a good night, and get on the air and tend to your instruments and all that sort of good stuff. So 73 all.
Have a great
73,
evening.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
73s.
Thank you.
Dr. Nathaniel, I just have mission. Dr. Nathaniel, are you here?
Yes.